PTK BLAM back with another video, and I did tell you guys I was going to be doing something special for my subs here on Friday, and look who the fuck I went out and got. Go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey man, it's the Mooch. I appreciate it. Thanks to PTK for having me on today. I feel like I'm doing my book signing tour this week. Direct 12. I let my boy crap down this week. I had a fantasy football draft, but I told PTK, me and him been playing. We've been gaming late nights. Well, late nights for me. I'm on the East Coast. He's on that West Coast, that easy time zone over there. So, but thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to getting down to some subjects tonight.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. It's an honor, like I said before, to have you on. I told everybody earlier this week I was going to be doing something special. So, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. So, just to get started, I got a few topics that I want to hit on, but I just want to, as a fan of yours and just as being your friend, and you being, I guess, a old school gamer like myself, you know, anything nowadays before the PS3 is old school. I guess they count it that way. So you know, so we've been gaming since Nintendo, since before that. So I kind of want to ask you, where did you get your start? What made you fall in love with gaming?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you. Well, it's a bit of a sap story, but you asked, I'm gonna tell you. You know, when I was younger, I actually used to jam a lot with my dad. My dad, we used to play a lot of games together. You know, I started on the Coleco. Can't say I started on the PC. I gotta be real. I never got on the PC. Never really liked it. Still don't really like it. I mean, I work all day on a PC. Last thing I want to do is come home and hunch over a desk again. But when I was a kid, really, ColecoVision played the crap out of that. You know, games like Zaxxon. See, my true love is Nintendo. You know, you want to go back, it was Nintendo. I mean, heck, man, I got into fist fights over Nintendo versus Sega. And I know I'm so in the minority right now. It's not even funny because everybody that's an Xbox fan was a huge Sega fan. And don't get me wrong, I mean, everybody, right? I mean, every single person that me and you talk to is a diehard Sega fan. And don't get me nothing wrong.
I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the pile, too. I was a Sega fan.
Yeah, I know you are. That's what I'm saying. I mean, everybody, man. I listen to everyone's podcast. I'm just amazed. And to be honest with you, the thing with me is this. The last thing I'd want to play these days is like a JRPG type of game. Because to me personally, turn-based, things like that, nothing wrong with it. It's not the style I have at the age that I'm at right now. But as a kid, you know, just Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy, and going back before that, you want to get into like the harder games, the Mega Mans, you know, the Contras, all the Mario Brothers, of course, all the Zelda. I played Zelda so many times, it's not even funny. I mean, I loved the brand. I loved Nintendo. That was really what kind of brought me into it. Now, getting back to what I was saying about the sad story was, you know, me and my pops, that was something that we kind of did together. We would just, you know, back in the day when you bought a cartridge, okay, you got a map, you'd unfold this thing 75 times, take up half your living room carpet. You know, didn't have a lot of icons on it. Just remember, okay, we're talking about 8-bit games. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you just big fold out there, we get like a strategy guide, and you grind, you leveled up your character, created another character, did that same thing, and it was something that like just got me into gaming. You know, and believe it or not, now I'm a dad, you're a dad. I do it with my son. You know, we play now. You know, we do things. I try to get him on the Wii U. I really do. You know, I'm trying to say to him, this is Nintendo. This is the same, you know, company that I grew up with. He does like Mario, but let's be honest, he's 6 years old. And let me tell you something. I should record it and put it on my channel. Just his hands. The boy's 6 years old, and he's handling the Xbox 360 and Xbox One controller like NASA controls. He's got everything down to a science, and he's 6. Now, look at kids are sponges, right? They can handle this kind of stuff. So I'm amazed at how good the kid is and how he's picked up on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a mooch gene. You know, you just got to born with it, man. You know, you just get. So I mean,
sure, man. My son is the same way, and he's 11. I mean, I started playing back in. He was probably about 3 years old. He used to sit there and watch me play Halo 3 and Halo 2, and I'd let him play and just hold a controller, turn it on, let him play. Then eventually he got to the point to where he was wanting to actually get in games. It was crazy, and he's an animal now. He gets on Call of Duty. It's insane. Like I'm thinking of seriously about just letting him forego like high school and be like, just concentrate on this, because in all honesty, you know, he's really, 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 really good at shooters and those types of games, and it's scary almost.
Well, you know what you got to do, Pete, you just say, no, you do not want to be a lawyer. You do not want to be an engineer. You do not want to be a doctor. You want Major League Gaming. That's what you want your son to do. You know what I mean? It just amazes me how good they are. But, like, you know, the thing is, though, the kids, this is an interesting subject. I'll be honest with you. This kind of really opens up many doors. I'm just amazed at how the patience level of gamers has dwindled to zero. When we were little, okay, when I was little, you didn't have a save, okay? You had to sit there, and your thumb had to bleed on that NES D-pad, okay? That thing was sharp on the end.
It was just a box. It was just a square, you know. And,
it's like a dull butter knife edge, but you keep rubbing that for 4.5 hours. Tell me how you're feeling.
Oh man.
You got to sit there and beat the game. There was no save. If there was anything, a couple of the games used to have those small passcode options you could put in where it had the blips on a matrix. But I mean, these kids today, you know, look at, I know a lot of people like to say this, okay? They all say, I play games on easy to enjoy the story. Well, that's nice. Yeah. That's really a nice story.
Yeah.
But I want a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I don't give a shit what it is. It could be a maze and crossword puzzle. I don't give a, I want a challenge, man. If you're not going to challenge me, and that's what we had when we were younger, and you got that with games like Bionic Commando. You got it with Ghosts and Goblins. You got it with, oh my God, I mean, no matter what it was, even simple games like Rampage, things like that came to the NES. I mean, you had it. The difficulty level, they didn't even have sometimes a hard level. They just gave you hard.
It just gave you the game. It gave you hard.
Yeah, here's hard.
Through it,
You know, that's why
nowadays, you know, they got. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, PT. I was gonna say that's the reason that we played the games for weeks and weeks and months because it was hard. You know, I mean, it was you can't just beat the game in 4 hours. That's how much gaming's changed in the past 25, 30 years. You know what I mean? And it's not bad. Look what we've got. We've got graphics, we've got better mechanics. Everything is smooth. But I mean, at the same time, you know, I miss that nostalgia. And I have my NES. I plug it in. I got tons of cartridges here, tons and tons. Yeah. I think I got about. I've tried to. I got more at the folks' house, but I grabbed like 80. I got 80 cartridges here. I play the crap out of them. The kids don't. They're entertained for about 40 seconds. They don't give a shit.
They don't really care about that. If it's not, kids are so ADHD nowadays too with that, man. My kids are just super into technology. Same type thing. They get bored so quickly. You know, we say go outside, and they're like, "Can I take my tablet with me?" And I'm like, "You're supposed to go outside and play. Like, what do you need your tablet for?" But yeah, man, it's gaming is definitely different now. I mean, I wish these kids could sometimes go back and actually see what we did growing up and see how we had to blow in the cartridges and do all kind of funky stuff. And I don't know if you remember going to the magazine aisle in the supermarket and going to the back of the gaming books to get the codes for the games. Oh my goodness. I remember that. So it's definitely different. So let's go ahead and get started with the topics that I got planned for today.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's roll. The first one I want to hit you with, I did a video about this just yesterday, and like I was telling you before we started the show, this is something that really didn't get touched on, and I just think the reason behind that is because the source it's coming from, which is IGN, and not a lot of Xbox guys really follow IGN. I know I don't typically, so I'm actually glad that I came across this news. So it's about Scalebound, and they did an interview with Kamaya, who's doing Scalebound, Platinum Games. He is the lead developer there. And they're building Scalebound, an Xbox One exclusive. And they pretty much asked them about the open world. And they said, well, are we going to be able to travel? You know, the game, what kind of scale is the game on? Are we going to be able to move from different planets? And basically, in a nutshell, I'm just paraphrase here. He basically said that there's too much content for this game. So for the first game, they're going to just focus on, I guess it's called Draconia, which is the actual planet that Scalebound takes place on. Mm-hmm. I found that to be really interesting. So what do you think about that? You think that this game is going to be something that Microsoft's going to make exclusive IP and make, 3 or 4 different games, or, kind of what are your feelings on it?
Well, I'm going to break it up into a couple of subjects. First and foremost, this will make our PlayStation friends happy. It depends on sales, because if this game sells really well, they're gonna. This is something that Phil Spencer's been wanting to open up his portfolio, and when he keeps saying that over and over again, he wants sequels, he wants trilogies, he wants things to come from these initial concept IPs. This is something that he's investing in. We know we've got a talented developer here. We all know how I personally feel about the guy. I wouldn't want his hand. I wouldn't shake his hand, or I wouldn't want his autograph. But I mean, my personal thing is this: it's kind of a smart move. What Phil's doing and he's doing it with Scalebound, and I think he's going to be doing it with Recore. He's taking the Japanese element of gaming, but he understands that if he just has a Japanese developer make a Japanese game, it's going to be niche. It's going to be small. It's going to be something that the mass Xbox community is not going to fall in love with. So how do you do that? Well, you take a little bit of that fighting mechanic you got from the last few Final Fantasies, and you throw in a little Bayonetta, and you throw in, you have something where your sword and you actually have a shotgun or something like that that actually shoots out, so you're making a third-person shooter. He's blending 3 generations into one IP. Now, and then, part of the dragon appeal and all that good stuff is not just from our generation being younger, but it's also that Japanese thing that really comes to fruition here. So what do I think? I think if it sells well, you're going to see this thing. There's going to be Scalebound 1, 2, 3. Easy. Okay. Yeah. Throughout the generation. Well, at least see 1 and 2 on Xbox One.
Yeah.
Now I will say this much. If it doesn't sell well, which I doubt, I doubt that would happen. It's going to sell well because I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to tell you, I think I have a lot of faith in the Xbox guys right now. I think everybody that has an Xbox is about to go out this Christmas, this holiday season, which starts basically now, and they're going to be grabbing Gears, they're going to be grabbing Forza, they're going to be grabbing Halo and Tomb Raider. Nobody's waiting a year for Tomb Raider. So either go get it now and enjoy it, right? So that's a mute cost. But if everyone starts to open up their wallet and buy what they say they're going to buy, okay? Now look at me, all right? I said I was not going to buy Metal Gear Solid. And I did, and I did it because of one reason. Okay, it's not because I somehow wanted to forgive Konami and Kojima. I can't stand those two. But like the thing about it is that I do like the game, and I really enjoy the community. And I didn't want to be out in the cold when everyone's starting to go over all these, these stories and these complications and great things they ran into and ways that they triumphed over them. I kind of want to be a part of that. Yeah. And to do that, unfortunately, everybody, back in the day, you used to be able to go buy a game whenever you're damn well pleased. Now, if you want to be a part of that community, you don't have to go buy it day 1, but you got to buy it month 1. That's my take.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't buy Arkham Knight when it first came out. Now, Arkham Knight, I'm going to grab it. But when I grab it, I'm going to have to play it in the corner and keep my mouth shut because nobody's going to want to talk to me about it. No one's going to want to help me. So, getting back to your question about Scalebound is if people will support it, okay? You can't ask Phil and Xbox and the Microsoft team to go out there, spend money, new IP, bring in these big developers, have them work exclusively for the Microsoft product, and then you go, not really into it. You got to at least try it out. And I tell people this all the time. Look, PTK, you and your missus, you go out, you have a bite to eat, a small appetizer, you go out, watch a movie, you each have 1 cocktail each, okay? Then afterwards, after the movie, you have popcorn, you have soda, and you go out for 1 more drink after that. That's 1 night out. One night out for the 2 of you, it's $200.
Yeah.
This is $60, okay, people? Anybody who's $60 is going to buy you guys at least 3 or 4 months of something to do with this game. Try these new IPs out, all right? People don't seem to understand that. It's value for your dollar. Don't just say, I'm not going to buy any. Oh, I don't want to support. Look, support them. It's $60. You're getting something for your money. You're getting a service. So try it out. And I think, PK, to answer your question in a really long way, what I'm saying is I think it'll do very well. It needs the community to support it, not financially. Microsoft doesn't need the dollars per se for that IP, but they need to see the dollars spent for interest, your ability to say, I want you to continue with this brand.
Nice.
So that's my whole pitch on that.
Yeah. And I think that's true also too. That's the biggest thing. You've seen it with games like more specifically and more recently Sunset Overdrive, which I guess didn't sell as well as we were all expecting it to. It was a fantastic IP. It kind of fell into Microsoft hands because Sony didn't want to do it at that point. They wanted the exclusive rights to the game.
Right.
So, and we didn't necessarily go out and support it the way it actually should have been. Now, if they decide on doing another one, I'm not exactly sure, but we may see that hit multi-plat just because we didn't necessarily get behind that game like everybody was anticipating. So the next one may be a multi-plat. So if we want to keep games and these unique experiences and Microsoft to have the incentive to do these things, we definitely need to go out, support with your wallet, support with your dollars, show Phil that he's making the right moves, and he'll continue to pump money into these new IPs.
That's
and make it exclusive in the long run.
And PTK, actually, you'll back me up on this. The reason we are such good friends, even besides the YouTube world, is we play Titanfall.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Look at Titanfall is a remarkable game, and everyone knows my stance on this. And it's what I'm saying. I do think Microsoft's going to make a push to make Titanfall 2 not their IP. EA has a lot to do with this, and EA is not stupid. They're going to get a cut of this, and they're going to make sure that they can keep taking money from Microsoft. But I do think it's going to follow in the footsteps of Gears of War with Epic. I think what will happen is it'll stay in Xbox, Microsoft, Windows 10. Notice I had to put all three of those in there, exclusive. Yeah. Here's the reasoning. Okay, so we said what we just said about Sunset Overdrive. Okay, it is what it is. I think it sold over 1 million copies. It did okay. It's nothing to really light a match and stomp your foot about. But Titanfall did what it did, took a tremendous price decrease on Xbox Store, Microsoft Store. Then they put it into the EA Access Vault. And then they gave away all the DLC. Before they put it in the vault, they gave all the DLC away for free when it was an $8 purchase. Okay. Look, Microsoft could have just let it die. They could have said, look, we tried it. We tried our hand. It didn't work. They're purposely putting it into everyone's home for a reason. And I know there's all these little signs, and Phil's kind of fun like this. It kind of makes it fun. And sometimes at points I thought it was annoying, but I'm starting to buy into it now. I like his shirt is like a little Ovaltine decoder ring. You got to keep like, what does that mean? We're all staring at his shirt, and it's probably just a pizza stain. But like we're sitting there, and he's got the A for the Atlas on there, and it's tied in with the Halo, the Forza, and the Gears. And to say that he wants to make that a part of his family, okay, that's a huge thing. Now, here's why I think we got room with Titanfall to work. Titanfall is a household name. Okay, it's the Kleenex of shooters. We're in. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone who has an Xbox knows what it is. And everybody who has a PS4 wants to know what it is. They're waiting for the sequel. The best way to actually grab now, we grabbed Phil thought that he was going to be able to grab this group of people from the PlayStation when he just snagged up Titanfall 1. But by snagging Titanfall 2, everyone in PlayStation is expecting it to come multi-plat. Now, this is all speculation, so I can't wait till somebody makes a video about me on this. But yeah, right. My predictions are like more famous than somebody who does tarot card readings. But literally, it's a gem for them. It's a beautiful combination of getting Windows 10 people to interact with Xbox One. Because it's already on PC, it's already on Xbox One. It's not going to be one of those things where, oh my God, you lost another exclusive. We didn't lose shit. It's always been on the PC, and now it's always been on the Xbox One. Lock and load it in. And it also gives Microsoft a leg up in the shooter thing, the shooter division, the shooter genre.
Because they lost the COD deal and everything like that.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb here, PTA. I don't think they lost shit. I think they said, no, we don't want it. Let me rephrase that so everybody doesn't think that it was some bad thing. At this point in Call of Duty's life cycle, we all know it's definitely not what it was. So it wasn't that big of a loss. And the $50 to $75 million you're going to spend on that 1 month early beta and that 1 month early access to DLC, you could spend that elsewhere. And I think that's exactly what Phil did with that money. So anybody who's not understanding what me and PTK are saying, let me put it in layman's terms for you. Okay, I'm a New York Mets fan. I will give you the best example in the world. You guys may have heard of baseball players like Tom Glavine, Mo Vaughn, Pedro Martinez. They're great. They're all Hall of Famers to be, but not when they were on the Mets. The Mets picked them up when they were at the end of their career. It was over. They were worthless. They were getting it for chump change. So here's my point. COD is over. It's not over. I say this and I'm like, God, my Twitter goes crazy. I understand it's still going to sell maybe up to 30 million. But remember, this thing was selling 30, 37, 35, 37 million. It's going to dip into the 20s. And when you lose 15 million, don't tell me, I understand it's still the 800-pound gorilla. But the problem is that you can't lose 15 million in sales over 3 years and tell me you're the same animal. You're not. And you're still spending the same money And with inflation, it costs more. You're spending more money on advertising now than you ever did to get this game out, and you're making less. So someone's feeling the less somewhere, okay? And it's Activision. So what I'm saying here is that Microsoft pulled out at the right time. It's at the decline. And listen, anyone that played the Black Ops 3 beta knows what I'm talking about. Great, I understand. It ran great. Everyone loved it. It was smooth as butter, so soaked, 60 frames per second. I loved how it, great. It was COD. Okay, nobody wrote me and said, you know what you're missing out on? Now you can fly, or now you can't. They tried to take Titanfall thoughts, put it into the game, but because of the engine being so old, it's still staggered and stuttery. It's not that silky.
Yeah, it's if you played Advanced Warfare or Black Ops 2, I mean, there's a COD formula, and why broke? If it's not broke, why fix it? So that's exactly what COD is. The engine is the same. They haven't updated the engine. They've tweaked it a little bit over the years, obviously with new tech and new hardware. They've tweaked it, but the gameplay felt the same as COD 3 or 4 years ago. So I didn't. My son downloaded the beta. I didn't even download it. I watched him play it, and it looked like I was still playing Black Ops 1 or 2 or Advanced Warfare or Modern Warfare 3. It didn't really look, in my opinion. Now, somebody who's a big fan of that franchise may think, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I've been playing COD since COD 2 when it came with the 360. So I've seen it over the years kind of evolve, and it's definitely not the COD that I've grown to love. I'm at this point, I view COD and Madden in the same area. I look at them they got so big that they've become a victim of themselves. They've pretty much cornered the market in a certain area, and there's no reason to innovate at that point. When you're like you said, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, everybody's walking around, Battlefield, is still not even doing half of what you're doing. As much as people, swear by Battlefield, you have these other shooters that want to be you, and they're not doing the numbers. They can't. So at this point, it's not really no incentive for them to do anything different. They throw some new paint on the box, give you a jetpack, and say this is a brand new COD. It's not enough for me.
Well, I'll tell you though, but if I'm an Activision CEO though, I've got something to say. I'd say, listen, what we're doing right now is history repeats itself. Okay, look at WoW, World of Warcraft. That's a game that was not to be touched. Okay, nobody has been able to touch that in the MMO world at all. Now, they've lost 10 million subscribers not year over year. Over the last year, I think they lost 10 million. The year before that, it was 7 and 5. They're dwindling down because what did they do? They kept the same practice, the same game. They did a couple of add-ons here and there because I happen to have a lot of people that are coworkers. They like WoW. That's fine. They love World of Warcraft. But they're telling me, they're like, I'll be honest with you, after that last expansion pack, I'm done. And they've like been playing the shit out of it for what, 6, 7 years? I don't know how long we've played it, almost 10 years. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. Look, I just gave everyone a rant on why you should take $60 out of your pocket and either buy the game digitally or physically, depending on your stance on that. That's another discussion. But you go out and you do that. But why would I want to talk you or myself into the $60 this year for COD when we've already got it at home? We already own Advanced Warfare. We already own Ghost. If you own any of these other ones, it's the same thing. The servers are up. Just talk to your buddy. Tell them to pop the other disc in. That's my whole thing. You're not getting any added value. There's a reason that people are looking forward to Fallout 4. Different mods coming. Different scenario. Different cities. Different this.
Gameplay completely from the ground up is different.
Gameplay is different. Okay, different. Now you have mascots to help you out more. Different things happen in the living world that you're in, where before it was stagnant. Now Call of Duty's the same thing. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, they didn't go from a pick 10 system that's a pick 13 system. Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah. Now I can carry two more pebbles and an extra knife. Like realistically, they didn't do enough to earn your $60. So that's the only reason I'm out. And not just that. Let's also call a spade a spade. Okay, there's a new 800-pound gorilla this year. It's Halo 5. I'm not gonna go buy Halo 5 on October 27th and put that thing down in 2 weeks to go play the COD I've been playing for 8 years. Halo 5
not gonna happen.
Yeah, come on. I mean, there's just way too much ingenuity and just new tech, new thought, new process, new ideas, new gameplay going into Halo 5. That's just too much for me to give up. And anybody who's listening, don't think of me as just as an Xbox fan. Think of me as a consumer. If I'm going to go out and spend $65, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to want something new, something exciting.
Definitely.
That's so when you're thinking that way, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go buy a COD again this year, you know, think about it. Pick up Halo. Try something different. If you don't like it,
try something different.
Bring it back.
I mean, you may actually enjoy Halo a little bit more than COD. So I mean, I got a few friends that are kind of on that COD hype train, and they weren't sure actually if they were going to be picking up Halo. But I told them, go ahead and pick that up, man. It may surprise you. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic here. So another thing I want to go over you, Mooch. I know this is your baby. This is Mooch, his most anticipated game of the year. Everybody, he's gonna give you his most anticipated game. So we got some news about No Man's Sky, Mooch. I know you're gonna enjoy this one. All right. It could be worse. It could be soccer cars, right?
I was gonna say I don't know which one I can't wait for more. Oh man!
All right, man. That's just a little shot. Don't worry, guys. It's all right. It's all right. So some news came out about No Man's Sky today. I saw it going around Twitter about the actual cost. Now, as we know it, No Man's Sky is an indie game. It's not a typical indie game. There's a lot of Sony's putting a lot of money into this actual IP and actually pumping a lot of marketing behind it. They're treating it as an exclusive, but it's still an indie made by an indie developer. So the information came out today that this game is actually going to retail for $60, like a AAA exclusive. Now, how do you feel about that, Mooch?
Well, how do I feel about that? That's like, this game, okay, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to do it in 27 parts. We're going to start with this. Basically, the game has had an E3 showing now from not 2013, but 2014 and 2015. Mm-hmm. And the developer's gotten on stage. One time he's cried. One time he didn't. And he literally just stood up there and don't get me wrong, the man is extremely grateful. And the man is actually a hell of a mathematician. So let me just pay that compliment to the man first. Okay, this is not an idiot we're talking about. He is a very smart person. Unfortunately, he's a really, really bad game designer. And the reason being is, look, a lot of people that are listening to your podcast, a lot of people that are gamers these days, we have some sort of job. We go to work. When you come home, you don't mind to do some exploration. But the 18 quadrillion million, look, nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. It's a space exploration simulator. It shouldn't even be in the same category as Elite Dangerous. It's just.
I've heard that. I've heard that, Mooch, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I want
go ahead.
I want to kind of go the other way now. Now, let's be fair here. I mean, it definitely is touching in some new areas as far as game development and game design. It's not a huge game with a huge budget, but it is pushing some new ideas and concepts that may be interesting and may work out in other games. Now, I will say that it's definitely going into some different territory. It's similar to Elite Dangerous. I've actually asked a few people. They say it's completely different, is not as much exploration and things like that. But I've heard a lot of people say it was, I guess in the same area as Elite Dangerous. So I kind of want to throw that out there before everybody thinks we're picking on No Man's Sky. So.
Well, let me just say this, okay? Anybody watch the Food Network that's listening that watches Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives? If you happen to watch that show at all, Diners is almost never on the show. And let me tell you why. Because Diners do everything okay and nothing great. And that's what you're going to get with No Man's Sky. Yes, the new technology that he's bringing to the table, maybe that's great for a game coming out in a couple of years or 10 years from now. This game's not that. This game has definitely hit the exploration. I'm sure every time you get somewhere, it's going to be a new redesign. And he explains it pretty much. He gets in depth a little bit about how he went ahead and recreated each of these planets with algorithms. And all it really is just reshuffling of numbers. Okay, and don't get me wrong, it's done. It's genius. But when you go down and see a planet now, instead of having a giraffe neck creature with a short stubby body, when you land, right? Okay, that planet's locked into a certain algorithm. Instead, it's going to be a long torso, with like a short stubby neck. So it's just all it's doing is mixing stuff up. You're not getting really anything new per se. You're just going to get like one's got green grass, one's got red grass, one's got yellow sand, the other one's got red sand. They are different. So technically you would have a million different possibilities, which is where he's coming up with these numbers. But nothing as far as a gamer getting excited is anything you're going to be like, wow, I'm really glad I picked this up. Now, let's get back to your question. Your question was $60. That game's not $60. And if Sony really wanted to get into bed with them like they are, and they keep pulling them up there and putting them on stage like they do, they should subsidize the cost, eat a little bit themselves, make it more of a Sony product if they really feel, which that's my whole point behind this. Sony did this with Shenmue. They're doing it with this guy. They're pulling these poor companies, these poor bastards that are not big companies. They're making them look like they're paupers. And oh, poor them. Oh, Sony saves the day. Sony doesn't. If Sony really cared, they make that game $30 and make it a Sony exclusive. You know what I mean? Yep. So they're not doing that. So they're not putting their best foot forward. They don't give a shit. And I'll be honest with you, Elite Dangerous, and look, you got to be honest on YouTube, okay? Everyone, everyone's doing background checks and my God, medical records come out on YouTube. But I have not played Elite Dangerous, but I've watched gameplay on it. And I've just taken a look at it. Elite Dangerous is a much more complicated game. It's got a lot more space simulation as far as fighting. And
I noticed that too. But Crazy One on Twitter, he plays that quite a bit, and I always see him tweeting out pictures, and he's always on Elite Dangerous, and he's told me how fantastic it was. So I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, if you guys don't believe me, go ahead and watch. And I know PTK was saying a lot of people don't. I don't usually encourage you going to IGN, but this is really funny. If you go to IGN and watch their first take they do every single month, I think a month ago or 2 months ago, they did No Man's Sky. And you guys can catch Marty Sleva in the back actually falling asleep. He actually fell asleep during the presentation.
I think you directed me to that.
Yes, I directed you to it.
I did go and watch that. Yeah.
The minute we get into you go into your rant, PTK, or something, I'll just tweet it out so everybody can see it. I saved that picture handsomely on my phone. That's fantastic. That's like pure gold. You can't get evidence like that.
Fell asleep at his own event, huh?
Fellas, well, he actually Ryan McCaffrey was hosting it, and Marty Sleva was second row. But the way that they set up the room was a lot of people from IGN were sitting with the developer, and it was supposed to be like a roundtable event. They were sitting in a movie theater, and he's asleep. Listen, there's nothing happening. It's an hour and a half of him walking around chasing this thing that looks like a penguin and a duck merged together, and he's shooting it, and he's like collecting a feather and then taking a picture or something. Listen, Sony, the fact that Sony's bringing this is something that if it was on Xbox, would be in the Xbox arcade. You know what I mean? This is stuff under the rug. This is how much trouble. This is how much trouble Sony's in. This is a premier event. This is a premier game we're talking about. This is something that other people would pass along or just hand out for free. So look, guys,
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's definitely getting the AAA treatment from Sony. That is for sure.
So soccer cars.
But I mean, to be fair, in all honesty, I mean, they don't really. The holidays looking a little bit thin for Sony, and they don't really have much going as far as a AAA exclusive. But so I mean, it is, I guess, smart business wise to put a lot of marketing and money. They're kind of going that direction this generation with Star Wars and a third-party marketing deal. So it isn't really out of the norm, and it is working. I guess to a point. Now we don't know how successful the game is going to be, but it is working to a degree. But for me, I'm not paying $60 for a game that is more than likely $25 or maybe $30 tops with DLC included. That's just me personally.
Yeah,
but if you feel like that way.
Well, when we say it's working though, PTK, should we be giving Sony the credit for the genius marketing that they're doing, or should we just be really concerned about the American public's gullibility of falling for anything? I mean, that's what I'm concerned about.
Okay, well, I guess you can make a good argument for both. Let's be honest, I guess you can make a good argument for both. And I said this. I said this before too, right at the end of E3 2013, when everybody was jumping on Microsoft's back. The person that should get the biggest raise in Sony is whoever's in charge of marketing, because they've done a fucking phenomenal job. They pretty much bailed PlayStation out completely. That's the entire reason why I feel like PlayStation is at the point to where they are now. Not that they're not providing a good product, because they are, but marketing, whoever runs that marketing department deserves like a $2 billion raise, because I mean, they've done a fantastic job with their marketing at this point. So I'll tip my hat to Sony for the marketing part, but you're absolutely right. A game like this, I don't really think it should be $60 retail. You can push it as a third-party exclusive, but ultimately it's an indie game. It's really, absolutely. If you take this and you take Ori, I mean, look at Ori. Look at the time, the care that was actually put into that game. Not saying that they did, but that game was a masterpiece. That game set the bar. You can't even call it an indie, to be honest with you, because it's not. It's a Microsoft published game, so
that's right.
Technically, it's not an indie. But it was, a lot of people were looking at it as an indie. But it was a phenomenal game. So I mean, I can definitely see the valid points there, Mooch. I just, in my opinion, I do not think it's worth $60.
Well, that's my point. You just said it yourself. I mean, the complexity, the level design, the ability to make this thing a franchise in Ori was through the roof, and we got charged $19.99 for it.
Exactly, $20.
$20. I played it through. I didn't play it religiously every night, but I beat it in about a month. Just because I was jumping around. It's a platformer, for God's sakes. You know, it's not something that I want to sit there and grind out for 7 days in a row. It's just sometimes you're in the mood for that challenge. And I was like, that game hit home for me on so many different levels. Not just what we were just talking about how great the game was designed, but it hit home for me personally because that's the kind of game I grew up playing. You know, that's what I grew up playing. You sat there and you got to listen. We all do this, right? We didn't just learn this in Batman. What happens when you fall, Bruce? You get back up. Okay, you gotta get back up in life, people. So when you play a game that's hard, don't break the disc or give up or complain. Try it, beat the game, make the game a challenge. And that's what that game did. That game made that a challenge. I don't think there was a level difficulty. I think it was just fucking hard. You know, and they did that on purpose. They were like, listen, we're going to put this on hard and you're going to enjoy it, you know? And I'm looking forward to Cuphead because it's hard. If someone told me it was just pretty and it was an easy game, I'd be like, hey, look, it's something I'll take a look at, but you know, I don't want to play Qbert. You know, I want to play, I want to play a game that's hard. Not to say that Qbert wasn't hard after the 27th level, but nonetheless. But yeah, that's what Ori, I'll tell you right now, get ready for this PTK. Here's another Mooch prediction 2015. Okay. I think that they're going to go ahead and make Ori, not just the game, but the character itself is going to become some sort of marketability for Microsoft moving forward, which is why they not only they really do, because think about it. There's a lot more female gamers. Okay. There's a lot more female gamers than there were 10 years ago. That Ori character, my wife, she was like, are you playing Ori tonight? I wouldn't mind watching that game. Because she's like, every 5 seconds when the music will kick on or Ori would do something or make a noise, and she'd go, oh, Ori's so, you know, it's an adorable character, whatever. Listen, it sounds weird having two men talk about it, but listen, the honest to God truth is we're talking about money here, right? Don't think they're not talking about trying to reach the female market, okay? And it's not that it's not that women necessarily want to play that, but they like to look at it, they like to watch it. It's a character that they can identify with, you know. And
kids also too.
Absolutely. Well, look at Nintendo's not $1 billion business because they got a Halo. They've got a bunch of fun, squeezable bedtime character things that they've been selling. They're selling amiibos right now. They're making out like bandits.
Yeah, like hotcakes.
Yeah,
them things are selling out. As soon as they get them in the store, they're gone.
Adults are putting them on their desk at work. I mean, you know, it's just it's and that's what Microsoft wants to do. Microsoft has a hell of a brand in Halo and Gears, and they've got that group. But now imagine if they can start to get the kids in, you know, the teenage kids, because there's no vulgarity to it. There's no blood. The characters are animals or made up type of creatures, and that's something that Microsoft's never. Right, and they've never had that on their platform before. So kudos to them for that. It's nice to see them be able to grab a brand and then also, you know, dominate with it and then move forward with it. So that's my take on Ori.
Nice. Okay, all right, great points there. So another thing I want to bring up here, I was talking to me and Mooch were talking before the show, and as Xbox fans, as you guys know, I'm a huge Xbox fan. That is my preferred platform. But for the most part, this generation, Microsoft and Xbox have pretty much given us everything that we want. And I do see a lot of times what happens is we get caught up in what we don't have as opposed to what we've already gotten and what we're getting in the near future. So I kind of wanted to touch on that. And the big thing here is really the value that they've been providing as the console has gotten older and moved on. The value with the bundles, the value with the games, the backwards compatibility, constantly just adding value to the console. So what do you feel like? Do you feel like people kind of underrate that, Mooch? That kind of goes without saying. People don't really look at that often, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, your subject line is very interesting. So, but the only thing is, I'm going to kind of step a little bit into the gray zone here because you're saying, are they underestimating what we have? I'm going to go ahead and throw this fall, okay? Because technically we're in September, and I know the calendar hasn't changed yet as far as fall, but I'm going to go ahead and round up. We're in the fall. We're going to be getting backwards compatibility. We're going to be getting a new UI. We are all guilty of not looking at what Microsoft has given us. What people don't realize is in the next 2 months, everyone that has an Xbox One, you're getting a brand new Xbox One, basically. Okay, no, you're not going to get somebody knocking on the door. It's not going to be Ed McMahon with balloons and a free box. Okay, you're going to get another UI. A UI, as far as that, look at what do we always joke about? It's a piece of plastic. That's the exterior. Okay, yeah, we're all buying into plastic. But when you get a new UI, you're getting a new system. We're all getting a brand new system that's promised to be 50 to 60% faster. I mean, we've all seen it. I don't have to go through all the bells and whistles. We know right. Backwards compatibility. Now, look. Okay, so you asked me. Myself personally, I love backwards compatibility. However, I'll probably use it less than 10% the next year. Now, I want them to do this. I'm glad they're doing it. For some reason, there's still this ridiculous lag of people not wanting to jump. I have so many people that are also in my office that are 360. They're still playing GTA and last year's COD. You know, they're the bro dude type of guys, but they have not bought an Xbox One. They don't have a PS4 either. They're like, I don't know why I got to move forward. Now, the minute we were done with E3 and they said backwards compatibility and I went into work, I said, guys, did you see this? One guy said yes. One guy said, no, I didn't see that. They were like, that's what I was kind of waiting for. Now my titles, these 40, 50 games I've got at home, there's something I can actually do with them. I could play them on my Xbox One and put this other thing that sounds like a jet engine taking off in the closet. And, you know, that's what they can do with their 360 and just get rid of it. You know, and so, option. Yeah, these are things that, like, we all looked at gift horses in the mouth. It's funny. We take what Microsoft gives us, and then, you know, 15 minutes after they announce it, we're like, that's kind of old news. What in the world that anybody that's listening right now or will be listening to us in the future that has a Sony PS4, what in the world are you looking forward to? Do not say Uncharted, and please do not say soccer cars. If you, there's nothing in the world, there's nothing coming. Like, everyone has told me that 3.0 is coming out soon. On the PS4, the 3.0 update, and it's supposed to be awesome. Now, don't get me wrong. I did hear the one thing. Listen, YouTube, they're going to be able to stream from YouTube. Great. Look, my hat's off to you. All you did, but you didn't come out with something that I can't get. I'm not going to get it yet. Microsoft's working diligently to get Windows 10 on everybody's Xbox One this fall. The absolute second they launch it on anybody, they get the first patch out. You know, because every new OS needs a patch. After they get that out, we're gonna have the YouTube gig thing coming, you know, by January. So who gives a shit? That's not something they have over us. You know, a friend of mine who's in the internet business, he told me this a long time ago, PTK. And this goes for me and you. Me and you, you know, shout out to me and PTK. It's not easy to start a channel. I got a lot of stuff going on. I've only got one video out. I've been doing a lot of I do a lot of friends podcasts because I really enjoy the live stuff better. But, you know, it's not easy to start a YouTube channel. You know, people always say that kind of stuff. But, like, you know, Microsoft is going out and giving you a new UI. They're giving you a new system coming up. There's nothing coming on the Sony PS4. There's no new UI. There's that 3.0 is basically going to be a stability update with a couple of features in it. And it looks the same. A couple of people reporting on Twitter this week that it's the exact same UI that they were using like 12 years ago. You know,
it is. The X and Y axis bar, it's really, I mean, it's. I actually talked to a buddy about that UI today on Twitter, and me and him and another guy of mine were another friend of mine were actually talking about it, and he was saying that it's a massive difference for the people that own a PS3 on the jump to PS4. And my point was that the skeleton of the UI is the exact same. They added a few more moving parts because let's be honest, that PS3 UI was bare bones. It looked like Windows Vista. That's how bare bones it was. And it was a lot of text, not many moving parts, not many pictures. They added a lot of new pictures, moving parts, some little slick things, but the actual overall, the skeleton is still there. The foundation of the PlayStation UI is still exactly the same. So I don't think it was that big of a jump. He kind of alluded to like party chat because, you know, when the PS3 came out, it didn't have it. And then once they added PS Plus, you were able to use party chat. And they just added it this generation. So it was. That's something we've been able to do for a long time, probably about 10 plus years now. So I didn't really look at that as a big jump, but those were kind of his points. But for me, I don't really see the UI being that big of a difference. But go ahead and go on what you were saying.
No, I mean that's the long and the short of it. I mean, here's a point. Here's a point I want everyone to think about for a minute. It's hardware versus software. That's all we keep hearing, right? So everyone's in love with Sony's PS4's look in the box. They're such hardware geniuses. They made a parallelogram. Congratulations. Okay. So the Microsoft guys aren't that good at that. What did Microsoft do for you guys already? They've given you the ability to tap into your Xbox One with an external hard drive of up to 16 terabytes. Now, hear me out. The counter to that is, but I can do the same thing, Mooch, on my PS4. Yeah, you got to remove 17 to 20 screws. Don't sweat inside it and drip any water in there. Pull the thing out. Find something compatible. Pop it in. Are you out of your mind? I want everybody that has a PS4 or anyone that knows that someone that has a PS4, ask them if they've changed out their hard drive. I bet you 90% of people have not. Nobody in the world, okay, even techie guys. I'm a techie guy. I don't want to come home and take apart my brand new box to take out the 500 gig and put in a 2 terabyte. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And Sony claims it doesn't void your warranty. But do that. Go ahead and do that, and then try and bring it back to GameStop with your receipt that you just paid your warranty on that. They're going to tell you to go take a shit. I got news for you. It's just absolutely asinine. They don't give you – Microsoft is giving you every ability as far as memory, UI, games, backwards compatibility, the Elite controller. Why are we not talking about that, PTK? Okay,
I was getting to that.
My fault. I hate jumping segments, but I mean, this thing is a beast. Okay, this thing is unbelievable. $150. Okay, anyone that says, "Well, Mooch, yeah, well, that's great, that's wonderful. I'm not paying $150 for that." Well, that's fine. Then you were never in the scuff category. Scuffs were over 200. When I priced one out, it was like it was like 250. The one I wanted. Okay,
yeah, same here. I've done it before too.
Yeah, when I saw 150, I was like, holy shit, that's like a free coupon. I'm like, God damn. You know, and I actually got a $50 coupon back from Microsoft. I bought, because like I said, I'm setting up the man cave downstairs. Part of the reason I'm not able to make as many videos as I want. I'm like upstairs, downstairs. We got construction going on in the house. But once that's done, I have an Xbox upstairs and an Xbox One downstairs. Like, it's like I got $50 back, got three free games with that thing. I took the $50, bought it in the Microsoft store. I got the Elite controller coming for $100. The thing is unbelievable. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You've got all of what has Sony. I'm a consumer. I'm not a hater. I'm a consumer. I'm not a hater. How many times do I got to say that? And the problem is nobody has been able to give me a reason or a right to take $400 out of my pocket right now and go buy a PlayStation. What am I getting? Do you know what's coming out? The Destiny.
You didn't get a chance to look at those lists they always send you, Mooch.
Man, listen, No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky 2. Those are types of games that, like, you would literally have to. If I put those games in, that would be like if PTK, you said I'm not going to let your son likes to play games. If you took all the games out of your house and you put only No Man's Sky in front of him, you'll watch your son cry. You see him cry right in front of you. You don't want nothing to do with that. You know? So,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it just depends. I think that's really if you're just into that kind of game, you know, if you have the patience to play that kind of game, then, you know, you'll definitely be into it. It's not something that I'm gonna purchase or buy or play. I mean, I can't see myself really. It kind of reminds me of that Pokemon Snap game. You know how you used to go around and have to take pictures of the Pokemon on the 64?
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? Being in an above ground pool playing Whirlpool where you just walk around in a circle for a half hour and then float on a floaty. Listen, that's all that is, okay? You're just walking around until you can float. There's nothing to do. You know, I mean, like, I would like to can somebody write me a paragraph? I'm asking for a paragraph of things that you've done. Anyone that's played No Man's Sky, write me a paragraph. Let me know what you've done. And after you get done with the second sentence of, then I went to the orange planet and I saw the purple sand, we can just cut it right there. You know, there's nothing to talk about on this game. So, you know, like I say, I understand what you're saying, PTK, and, you know, hey, you're a great host. This is why you're a great host. And me and PTK actually have a lot of very similar views. You know, but PTK's got a good show here. My whole shtick is, I can't buy into Sony. I'm just having a hard time. I can't be a PC guy. I don't mean PC, personal computer. I mean politically correct. I can't be politically correct here because, in all honesty, I need something to sell. Now, look, I will have a PS4 when Uncharted 4 comes out. Okay? There.
Okay.
I'm going to have one. I like Uncharted.
I've
always said that. I've always said that. And I got 2 PS3s in this house. Okay, I have them right now. You know, I'm using them for Blu-ray players. But listen, I have them in the house. I've always been a 2-console game, if not 3. We have the Wii. I have the Wii U. I've got every Nintendo system that's ever been, all the Xboxes. My point is this. There's no reason for me to go get a PS4. And you know what? Listen, that's not me trying to be funny. I'm actually kind of pissed off. Why I would like a reason to go get it. And the first one will be Uncharted. And you know what, PTK? I'll tell you right now. To be honest with you, I think Uncharted 4 is going to be good. I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to buy it. Okay, it's going to be good, but it's also another dying breed. It's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get done with 4.
It's the last game in that whole trilogy, anyways. Is this supposed to be the last one?
How many Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees movies were the last ones?
That's true.
They keep bringing them back. Look, it's a science fiction thing, or it's a fiction type of thing. It's not the end. You know, maybe Drake will have a kid with that girl. You know, I don't know. Whatever happens, you know, it's going to be something where like it just keeps going. It's the Uncharted. It won't go away. It makes too much money for them. But that's not the point. The point is it's just a series. That's why what 343 and Halo 5's doing is genius. They could just keep going down the Master Chief thing, and yes, a lot of people would have bought it. But they're purposely stirring up this I like Locke, I'm more Master Chief. Who the hell's going to end up at the end with the pistol to the other one right in the temple? Who's going to do this? What's going to happen with the espionage? That's the kind of stuff, right?
That's beautiful. And a lot of people actually were upset about that originally, but I think this is exactly what Halo needs. To keep a franchise that's been going since, 2002? It came originally, that game shipped with the original Xbox. You just came in a box. I remember my buddy buying his and getting it. To keep a game like that fresh, you have to take risk. And I feel like if you don't take risk and do something different, you're going to keep getting the same results. You may get the numbers that you want to see, but ultimately it's not going to last because it's going to grow stale. And I find that happens with a lot of these games. And I give Microsoft and 343 kudos for taking a risk on the biggest exclusive in gaming, period, on any console outside of Pokemon and Mario. I think outside of those two franchises, Halo is the biggest exclusive, hands down. I don't care. You can talk sales. You can talk. Halo's the movie when it comes out. It's not a game. And right. I've had somebody tell me, years ago, Halo's dying. Halo's dying. It's on its last leg. Do you realize Halo 4 did 10 million copies?
I didn't know the exact number.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing here. 9.8 was the exact number that I saw recently. I did some research, and that's for a dying franchise. Who does that? What exclusive does that besides Halo outside of Mario and Pokemon? There's not one on Sony. What did Uncharted do the last one? Maybe 5, 4. And I don't even play sales, but if you want to go that route, we can go that route.
That's right.
Because it's a fantastic game. It's a movie. It's not a game. People have invested in that Halo franchise, unlike any other exclusive we've seen.
A lot of people don't like when I get into this, but I'll tell you right now, PTK, this is a fact. Okay, there's a different group of people on each one of these systems. Okay, and it gets back with sales. The sales of the consoles, okay, the actually going out and buying the brick that sits underneath all of our TVs. That's only relevant to a certain amount of conversation. The rest of it really kind of boils down to software sales. Microsoft has always kicked ass in software sales. Now, current day, you already know the Halo. We're going to get into those Halo. I want to talk about Halo and Uncharted in 1 second on sales.
Okay. Yeah.
But what I want to talk about more importantly is Black Ops 3 is currently selling more games, according to Amazon, on Xbox One. And I believe the same thing is happening with Destiny currently with the Taken King. So now getting back to the other point of view, and this all tie in. Halo has somewhere around 60 or 65 million in sales throughout the lifespan of the brand. Okay, Uncharted, I think, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it's right around 30 or 35 million over the course of its lifespan.
I say about 30 or so. I remember seeing a video.
Yeah. I saw a video and I saw a list, but I did not put it to memory. Memory.
It's close. I think you're in the ballpark, Mooch.
But my other point was that Gears was at like 24 or 25, 26. It was between 24 and 26 million. And I said, geez, I'm looking at this list and I said, wow, not only does that just put Halo on so much more of a pedestal than I thought, but I said, geez, that means that Microsoft's second baby, Gears, is actually still almost about to trump Sony's best in Uncharted. And I said, my God, that's something. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying. There's a higher echelon. I do notice that the Xbox, look, anybody that has a PS4 or Xbox One, hop on either community in the next couple of days, especially if you're a politically correct guy and you just want to prove me wrong, go ahead. Hop on. Try and have a conversation. Hop into, if you see me on there, the MOOCH78, hit me up. And let's talk for a minute. And you can. There's usually a bunch of guys having a good time in the group. We'll talk. We'll bullshit. And you know what? Try and just pick up on what we're talking about. We're talking about games, current events, things that are happening in real life. When you go into Sony, it's almost like maybe running into like a 6th grade class at lunch. You know what I mean? Curse word, racist remark, curse word, something immature to where I'm like, I'm not really sure what you even said. It's just a different dynamic. And of course, this doesn't hold water if you say, well, that's not fair. I play with my friends on PlayStation all the time and we're very educated. There's always an exemption. But I'm just saying, if you just plunk yourself into a random group, I generally have a much better experience with the Xbox community over the PlayStation
And I've heard that. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I own a PlayStation. I don't. But I've been on the PlayStation enough. I have no friends that are diehard, Sony guys, that diehard PlayStation fans, and even they kind of said the same thing about the, party chat and different things like that. I honestly think it's because it's a fairly new feature for them. That's something that we've always had on our consoles. So, for the last 10 plus years. So I think that, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of odd, and I have heard that. You know what I mean? And you're actually the second or third person to tell me that. I got a good buddy who I got in an argument with about that, actually, about the same thing. And he was saying that it's kind of, because I brought up the point that our service is a little bit better, or Xbox Live is a little bit better than PSN, or, depending on what we were talking about as far as.
Well, that's you being nice.
Yeah, and that's what I said, depending on what we were talking about, because we're not talking about the quality of the actual service. That's a whole nother conversation. We'll save for another day. We were just talking about the party chat, particular that part. And he was saying that a lot of times he won't even go in the chat because a lot of times either people are not talking, or there's a lot of kids just rambling on, and he doesn't really want to, take part in those conversations. So now that's just his incident. I'm not throwing a blanket statement over everybody that owns a PlayStation, but I do hear that from time to time.
Well, I mean, look, that goes without saying. There's no comparison. The other thing I was going to say to you that really does marry into this is that you have a higher echelon. When you have a higher echelon crop, you're generally getting a better, financial status as well. And more, I shouldn't say, it doesn't mean everybody's 6 figures. I'm just saying more expendable cash. And that's what sales really transpire to. Everyone's just going by this 25 million versus 17 million with Xbox. Look, those numbers are really, really all going to end up the same at the end of the year. You know what I mean? There's as many Burger Kings as McDonald's now, okay? But McDonald's still kicks Burger King's ass. They sell more, okay, of what's inside. It's not how many buildings there are. That's going to level out. That's going to even out. Last generation, they both ended right around 90 million. I think Microsoft pulled ahead at the end by 2 or 3 million. But I'm an Xbox guy. I'm not going to like congratulate Xbox for the 3 million they pulled out at the end. Who cares? Who cares? The point of the matter was, if you look at all the multi-plats and how things actually sold over the course of that generation, Microsoft kicked ass. They won the software war. And that's the real war. Okay, that's the real war that these guys care about.
That's where they make their money at. That's where they turn their profit at. They always, even through last generation, they always initially lose money on the hardware sales, or even throughout the lifetime of the 360, I believe. Microsoft lost a ton of money on the 360, but they picked that up in software sales.
If you go to a restaurant and you're a non-drinker, but you buy the filet mignon and the snails, the escargot and everything else, and you don't drink liquor, and I'm the table next to you, I order 3 bottles of champagne and 4 cognacs, watch that owner come and kiss my ass and not yours, because he's making a lot more money off of me. And let me tell you something right now. That's the whole thing. When you go to a restaurant or a bar, it's about the liquor, the wine, the beer. It's a higher markup. It's 300% on that shit. They only make about maybe, I think it's 50%. They may even make 100% on the food. It depends on where you go. But like if something costs $6, they're usually charging you, if it's a $6 cost for a chicken dish, okay, and you're in a restaurant, you're usually getting charged somewhere. It's a decent place, by the way. You're usually getting charged $18. The figure on that is $6 for the cost of the food. $6 is the profit they want to make on it, and $6 is to pay for the actual staff, the waiting staff. That's how they have to break it down, because they make money on just the food. If they're just going to charge you $2.50 up on the chicken, everyone's getting free refills of soda. They're not making any money. So they've got to make their money there. But still, they're only making about $6 to $12 on that chicken. But if I buy 2 beers Those beers are $12, and those beers cost him somewhere around $1.50. He's made $11 off of the beers. You understand? Yeah. It's about the money you're actually making off of there's just, you make more and you get more for your money. In the gaming world, it's about software sales. So you sell 25 million PS4s. Microsoft sold so far 17 million Xbox Ones. But Microsoft is beating you in Black Ops 3, Taken King, and then whooping your ass because they have their first party games. Like, you're getting your ass kicked, Sony. You don't even realize. That's why Microsoft's not mad. So Microsoft isn't crying. They don't give a shit. They're making money.
And it's funny because I said that after I'm pretty sure you caught the last show I did with Tim last week, and then Aaron popped on, and then we had Money come on, and that's what I felt from when Aaron said that they're not. He pretty much said their sales, things like that, isn't a huge concern. Obviously, it is ultimately, but they're just concerned with putting out the best product that they possibly can and taking care of their fan base and their consumers. So ultimately, quality over quantity, and I think that's the approach they're taking. That's why you don't see Aaron Greenberg, Mikey Barr, Phil. You don't see them getting in these, tit for tat, throwing shots at Sony about sales and things like that, because they're making money. They're making a profit. They know they have a great product, and it's selling far better than the 360 at this point in its life cycle. I don't know exactly how much better. I know it's probably at least twice as good as the previous console. So I don't think there's so much concern with that. I just think they want to be able to put out a quality system and have quality content, and that's all what they seem to be concerned about in the end. So, they're providing great value, and this all kind of ties up together what Mooch was talking about. And I think that doesn't really get stated enough as gamers of the value that, or Xbox gamers, I can say, of the value that we're getting from Microsoft. So before we go, I want to touch on this last thing, Mooch. I don't want to keep you on too long. I know you got the family waiting, man.
It's all good, man.
So let me touch on this last thing here that we got. So I want to talk about, as we know, Microsoft didn't have a lot of games or AAA games come out the first 5 or 6 months of the year. A lot of us as fans were kind of getting a little hot under the collar, like, what's going on? Where are these games? We're waiting to see these games. But they've kind of remapped and got everybody back on board. Not that we jumped off board, but with the recent news that's been pushed since E3 with all of the games, we know what's coming in 18 months, almost damn near a game a month. It's something crazy like that. A game every 2 or 3 months is crazy. Exclusive every 2 or 3 months from here on out is crazy. It's unheard of. But I want to talk about their ramp up in advertising. And that's something that I've seen you guys talk about on BGST, on other shows that you've been a part of, talking about marketing and advertising, on how Microsoft can improve as far as games, and their recent Forza ad, which is one of the best ads I've ever seen for a video game in my life, as far as just the impact the ad makes and the message that they were getting across, with the Gears ad, with the Halo ad, with everything, the Elite bundle coming up, with the value that they provided, and just the advertising. So how do you feel about, is there anything they need to do as far as be more aggressive, or anything you think they need to do change to get the advertising more out there?
Well, let me start in the beginning of what you said about how we waited. First, the audience needs to understand that the reason I make a lot of restaurant references on BGST and on PTK show and my own channels, my family, not my family, but my aunts and uncles own a lot of restaurants. When you're 100% Italian, everybody's off the boat. There's a lot of restaurants in the business. So I just want to know a little bit about that. But like, literally, look, when you go to a great restaurant, okay, you're going out with your better half, you're going out on a holiday, or you're going out for your anniversary, and you go to this great restaurant, you have a couple of drinks, the appetizer comes a half an hour later, but you're hungry, but you don't care. It's the whole, like, oh my God, I'm at this fancy place, I'm enjoying myself. You get another drink, you're still like, geez, what the hell's my steak? I can't wait to eat this. All of a sudden, it's the anticipation, okay? It's part of the ambiance. It's what you're actually paying for. They know that you're there. They know you're sitting there. They know you're hungry. They want you to drink some more. It's what Microsoft did to us in 2015. We knew what was coming down the pipeline. We had to wait for it, had to simmer, had to cook, okay? Had to get done. They're not going to release something before it's ready. We already learned that, in the past. That's not going to happen. So everything you're going to get from Microsoft as far as the first party, you're going to get, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, so that's the whole thing I want to say with just the waiting part. As far as the marketing goes, I watched that Forza commercial 3 or 4 times today. And the reason was, maybe it was because it's my age. every one of those driving games, I was like yelling out loud. I'm like, oh my God,
oh my goodness.
And they did the sound effects too. All the sound effects from the original games.
My
Dude,
goodness.
I put that on my stereo and blasted it so I could hear every little like that crazy shit that was going on in the back. I was like, oh my God, that's so old school. I love it. Great marketing scheme. Now, I will say this. I'm not going to sit here and keep patting them on the back. I also watched they also had another video out yesterday or today that came out about the greatest games lineup, and they went through the whole
I saw
thing.
that. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. But I'm gonna critique them a little bit. This is the third time they've come out with something very, very similar. Okay, look, you got to do this, but stop just putting it on YouTube, because the MOOCH and PTK and BGS, we cannot promote these alone. They got to put this on NBC, ABC, and CBS. You got to start getting on prime time. You've got to start getting out there for the preseason football games that are left. You got to get out there for football season. You've got to get these advertisements out there, and people need to see them on all channels. Those games, like that Forza thing, that should be on Nickelodeon. Show the kids. It's a racing game. Holy shit. I want that kind of, we were playing all the reason that commercial has such nostalgia is we played those games as kids. My son loves American muscle cars. He loves them. His grandfather's into him. He loves them. The minute he saw me watching that on television, he's like, Dad, what's that? I'm like, that's Forza. He's like, is that a game that I could play? Because I don't want to, he's 6 years old. I'm not going to let him play anything totally blood and guts. But he can play Forza. I go, yeah. I go, do you want something like that? He's like, yeah. He's like, do they have Mustangs in them? I'm like, yeah, there's Mustang. He's like, he's going off on this thing. Like, this is what you got to
just getting him excited.
Yeah, man, you got to get into this. You got to show the kids. Get it. Forza should be advertised from like 5-year-old to 50. Like, there should be no boundaries on this game. As far as the other games go, get it out there. They do need to be more aggressive. You ask me, do they? They got to step on the gas and stop just putting out these cool YouTube videos.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any adverts for Forza till that one today, actually. And the game's coming out a week or two from now, something like that. Tuesday even. Is it Tuesday? And I hadn't seen it. I don't know. Somebody, if you guys are listening, just tweet it out when it comes out, because I don't know.
In all honesty, but I bought Forza Horizon 2. Forza 6, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm on the fence. I'll be really honest with you. I just, with all the games that are coming out and all the back, I'm still playing Witcher 3. I've only got 6,000 hours left. I got so much time left to do in that. I'm almost done with Gears. I think I'm on the last act. And then I'm gonna play through it again. I'll play through Gears 8 times at least. And then we've got, I did just pick up Metal Gear Solid, which is still in the cellophane wrap. I haven't even unwrapped it yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I haven't, because, to be honest, I'm just not home. I'm running around like a jackass, so I haven't had time. And when I sit down, it won't be tonight's game, but it'll probably be I was thinking taking some time on Saturday and getting into it. But so you take those 3 games plus any other little backlog. Got Rare Replay. I'm still jamming out on Battletoads, things like that. I just don't know if I'm going to sit there and put 2-3 hours every other day into a Forza game. So that's a me thing, though. That's a me thing. It doesn't mean I understand. I can see one of my games getting bumped for that, but
Yeah, I'm going to be fair here. I'm not a huge racing fan at all, and I'm not a big sim racer fan or even arcade racer. Now, I did a long days ago. I liked the Need for Speed franchise, but we know where that's going. But I played this demo. I put the demo in or downloaded the demo, whatever the case may be. Played it. Me and my wife's sitting next to me while I'm playing. She's like, babe, you need to get this game. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, I barely even started the demo. Like, what do you mean? She's like, look how real it looks. And babe, look how fast they're moving, and just look at the cars. And, we're going through the cars, and, the demo's not very long, so don't give you a lot. And she even like, babe, let me play that after you. And I'm like, this is something that, I can see me playing with my girl or my son, and, him trying to beat my fastest time, and, me trying to beat his time. And then I know there's going to a lot of people in my friends list are going to be purchasing it, as they've told me. So, I think it's more of a thing where it's definitely a racing game I can get into. You're talking, 460 cars. Is that correct? Was it 460, I believe? The last time I checked? That is insane.
460 now, 460 something, yes.
That is crazy. Like, that, how do you fit that many cars into? That's ridiculous. All built into the game with great detail, all meet specifications of the actual real life vehicles, and it's insane what they're giving you with this game. And I can definitely see it being something that if I pick up now, even if I don't get back to it, like you were saying, you can always pick it up because I guarantee you, you may get online 3 months later and you're driving something that nobody's drove before. You know, one of your friends like, I ain't even seen that car yet. What is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a game where I can see they pumped a lot of value. I mean, it's beautiful, 1080p, 60 frames if you want to go that route. The only 1080p 60 frame locked racing game thus far this generation. That's for the P babies that may be watching or listening. Those are guys who like the resolution and frame rate deal. So they have that locked there. It's a great game, you know, and it's something that definitely needs to be advertised. And I think even Halo. I mean, the only thing I've seen, people have been tweeting out a huge billboard ad of Halo in Times Square above like Toys R Us, which is nice, but I want to see more commercials. You know, I want to see more advertising for these different things. And I think Halo's getting kind of close. We're in September, so you'll start to see Halo's just a different animal altogether. You can't really put it in the same category as even Gears, because when Halo's about to drop, everything at Microsoft turns and focuses on that. Their resources. Now they do work on everything else they have going on, but that's the baby. You know what I'm saying? That's the I want to say moneymaker, but that's the big game at Microsoft. You know, so I think we're still going to see great advertising for that game. But you're right. I think they do need to step up as far as taking a different approach. And you know, all of these bundles we're seeing that are like one-time giveaway bundles. They need to make those bundles. You know, they need to actually sell those bundles retail. I seen a Fallout 4 console you could win or something at I think it was
like a Pip-Boy or something.
It was beautiful. Why don't they put that with Fallout 4 and make it a bundle? I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, I'm with
you.
I'm with you
110%. One ball that I think Microsoft is dropping. It may be in advertising and getting these games out, you know, to the right people.
Myself personally, I want to take it. I'm going to make it even easier for them. I think you're right, by the way. You're 110% right. But I want to make it easier for them. How about this? How about we get rid of the pea green box? Let's get rid of the pea green box. Like that the Gears incentive now the Halo Master Chief's a year old. Now we're moving on to the Gears Ultimate that's out there, and they're giving that away with their consoles. The box should be back to like it was in the day one edition. Black box. All black. On the bottom, you do Gears like it has it now. That, you know, that stripe they have across the green box. Put that stripe along the bottom, and on the back of it, the gear symbol, which is the red blood gear with the skull in the middle, and you put that shit on the dude. That's gone. That is selling. People want the box. Okay. There's people that buy hardcover books. There's people that keep buying physical because they like to collect. People will buy that for the box. Now, that's just idiotic, right? There's a lot of people who are going, are you out of your mind? I'm not one of those people. Okay, I generally, once the warranty's up on the box, I keep the box not because of a memento. I generally keep the box until the warranty's up. Once I know I can't return it to the store or something like that, then I just shred the thing. I can't keep boxes everywhere for the rest of my life. But there's people who buy, for me, it's what's inside the box. You know, like what's in the box? That's me. You know, I give a shit what's in the box. But you got to make it alluring. It's got to be attractive. And again, here we go again. Here goes Mooch with his food. And no, I ate dinner. I'm not hungry. But when you go to New York City, okay? You go to New York City, you go into all these pizza places. I guarantee you 4 out of 10 slices really don't taste that good, but they look fucking awesome. And you bought it, and you sat there, and you paid $3.75 for that slice, and you're like, this tastes like shit. It's artichoke hearts. You know, listen, it is what it is. You know, you're like, God damn it looked good up there. But, you know, the whole point of the matter is that you buy what's enticing. We as consumers, look at the American public. We're all kind of lemmings right now. The 25 million people bought a game system that has nothing but 1080p paint jobs and terrible frames per second. It's got terrible performance. It's got no games. It overheats, and you can't change your name on it, and you can't upgrade your hard drive without doing major surgery. You know, look, the thing is just an awful, awful product, but the American public's buying into it because why? It's got a pretty box. They put some pretty boxes inside the pretty box.
Yeah, it has a lot of great marketing too. Like before, whoever runs their PR department is a fucking genius because they've completely. I mean, not saying that they've duped anybody. I mean, I'm not gonna go as far as Mooch to say it's a bad product. I mean, it's not something that I prefer. I think it's still a great console. Ultimately, there's a lot of people out there who enjoy it, but for what you're getting and for as well as it's doing, in my opinion, I don't think it's providing the value that goes with the sales that are accompanied with the system. I mean, 25 million is a lot of consoles, and it's selling like crazy. I don't necessarily see the complete value, but I mean, there is some value there. So I'm not going to go off the deep end, but it is what it is. Mooch is his own man, and that's the answer that he provided. So
well,
I'm definitely not going to question that. So for
sure. But here's the thing, though, PTK. Don't get me wrong. I applaud you for being. I wish I could do what you're doing. I can't be that politically correct because here's the thing. What in the world are people buying it for? Like, why? Besides the nostalgia of the PlayStation logo, there's nothing on it. Like, there's nobody getting anything this year. Nobody got anything. And don't say Bloodborne. 1 million sales. We just made fun. Everyone makes fun of Sunset Overdrive for selling 1 million. But when Bloodborne sells 1 million, it's a complete and utter masterpiece. Like, here's the thing. If you want, here's what I'll say. I'll leave it at this, PTK. You know me offline, so it's not like the first time you heard this. Here's the thing. Listen to me. In all honesty, let's not give Sony marketing or Sony VPs any credit. Let's give credit where it's due, and that's to the media. We can thank the media for pushing PS4s down American throats for the past 2 years. Because, look, me and you could have been the Sony marketing team, right? Look at PTK. What do you think of this box? You'd be like, Mooch, you are a goddamn genius. That's beautiful, right? But if there's nothing coming out and we just put that shit on a shelf, nobody was going to buy it. But when you have GameSpot, Kotaku, IGN, Polygon, yada, 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 over 7 million subscribers to these channels, all of them being like, I can't even find the select button on Xbox. What do you need a Kinect for? All I need is a controller, right? Yeah, I mean, because a controller worked in 1970. So why would I want to do anything different now? Yeah. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, look I told you I'm going to own a PS4. I get it. I like some of their stories. I like some of their games. But the thing is, though, what did 25 million of you run out to go buy? A soccer car capable machine. I mean, that's all you're look. I went to a fantasy football draft last night, and a guy sitting next to me, he doesn't know anything about YouTube or anything like that. And I said, he had mentioned gaming. I said, oh shit. I said, really, you game? He's like, yeah. He's like, I got a PlayStation 4. I said, please enlighten me. I said, I couldn't wait, dude. I go, what do you really? This
at the bits over there, Mooch. I know you were. Man.
Right here. Oh, look, I had to grab another beer after he said that. But listen, right hand to God, this happened. I turned to him and I said, look, so tell me. I said, no bullshit. What are you playing? And he just met me that night because he was a guy who was new to the league. And he says to me, well, you're going to laugh, but he goes, I'm actually having a lot of fun with this little free-to-play game. Now, I thought it was a free-to-play game too, but people on Twitter keep telling me it was a $20 game. He's like, I'm playing a game called, what's it called? He goes, Rocket League? I go, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? I pointed out, I said, get the fuck out of here. Honestly, get out of my face. Like, I go, you mean soccer cars? He goes, is that what it's called?
Wow.
I go, would you believe it's called soccer cars? He goes, well, that's what it is. I go, exactly, that's what it is. I go, what's wrong with you? You're a grown man.
My goodness, I know you lost it.
I lost it, man. I lost it. After that, I was even picking Cowboys on my team. I was so delirious. Listen, I got news.
My goodness.
Okay, look, the thing is what has it come down to? Look, there's no doubt that soccer cars is a fun game. And PTK, who knows? Look, are you going to have a PS4 eventually? Probably, right?
Yes.
Okay.
More than likely.
Right. And when you do, let me know. And if you want, we'll both download soccer cars. And I want to see how long me and you play that before we're like, all right, you ready to play Halo or like something real now? I can't see me and you doing it for more than 45 minutes. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I hear from what I hear, people say it's addictive, but so it's what is that game that you can play on Android with the not Bejeweled, the other one that everybody plays,
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. That's addictive too. You know what I mean? And it's an Android game. I get it. It's the quick. It's the fun. It reminds me of like a virtual foosball game. Like it's foosball.
Yes. Yeah, it's foosball.
That's pretty much what it is. And foosball is good, but I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours of my afternoon after I get off work playing foosball or
PTK,
a virtual foosball.
Let me ask you a question now. You've asked me. I want to ask you one question. I'm really curious. Okay. And I don't blame you. I totally understand what you're doing. Here's my question. Why didn't iDarb get the credit that soccer cars is getting? What's the difference?
Oh, man. Well, I guess to be fair, it definitely wasn't hyped as much as Sony is hyping. It wasn't marketed as much as Sony is marketing this.
I don't think it's Sony though. It's the media.
Rocket League.
The media.
Well, it's people are enjoying the game, and I can't really fault that. I had fun with iDarb. I have iDarb here. I know a lot of people that still play it on my friends list also too. But I don't. It definitely doesn't have the same hype that this Rocket League is getting. That is for sure. Rocket League, you would almost think if you didn't know and you were just put in a room, an empty room for about a week, and you didn't know, and somebody said, "Oh man, this is new game out called soccer, Rocket League." You probably think it was a AAA game.
No, wait, no, BTK. Let me tell you something. How hard are you fighting yourself to not say soccer cars? Because I got you right there, man. You even started to say the soccer.
Give me a break.
That's
give
great,
me a
buddy.
break.
No, I will. I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna give you a break. I love you, buddy. That's great.
Yeah, man. No, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's definitely different. iDarb didn't get the same draw or the attention that is getting that Rocket League is getting now. I don't know. Maybe it's just us, Mooch. I'm not sure. It could be us. I don't know.
I don't know. Look, all I'm asking is this. All I ask people is this: give everything a fair shake. If you're gonna have a game on Xbox that has up to 8 people playing into it and shooting a ball into an empty net, and then you're going to have a game with 8 people playing or 6 people, I think, in Rocket League, and you can hit it into an empty net. Let's just call a spade, okay? It's the same goddamn game, for crying out loud. And because it's on Xbox, the media didn't promote it, and because it's on PlayStation, the media fell in love with it. And that's what really my fight comes down to. It's not that my hate is for Sony. You said it yourself. Sony's putting out a product. They're doing their job. They put out a console and they're putting out kind of games. And right, because they're not putting out anywhere near what Xbox is putting out this fall. We know that. That's a given. But we're not going to go down that road. But I mean, they're doing their due diligence, right? They promised people what they would. They're doing it. So who's really doing this hype? It's the media. It's the employees at GameStop. I go to GameStop just because the kids like to run around. They look at all the new either the amiibos, they look at all the new oh god, I can't remember that one game now where you put the action figure on Skylanders. My son's got 7. Right now I am currently staring at 4 containers. Like you can ziplock them into the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's got to be at least 75 or 85 Skylander toys sitting here. They like to go do all that stuff. That's fine. That's great. I think that's very wholesome for the kids. It's a lot of fun interaction. It's great. So I go in there and I always kind of, I'm a little bit of an asshole when I go in there, right? But I'm quiet about it. Okay. I was over on the PlayStation side, because I heard they have the display set up on both sides. PlayStation. I walked over to the PlayStation side because I thought something was going to blow up, but it was just the PS4 in the case that they had running. I said, "What the hell is that noise over here?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, that's the PlayStation." I said, "Yeah." So I was talking and so she goes, "Is there anything I can help you with?" I'm like, "No, not really." I said, I prefer the green side over there. I was like, I just know everything. So I thought it. And she's like, "Oh, you're an Xbox guy." And I'm like, "Wait, first of all, you're like, you're like 20 years old, maybe. You don't even know what you're talking about." I mean, she has no idea. Come on. I always ask somebody at GameStop, I'm like, "What do you recommend I buy on a PS3 used? I'd like to hear. What have I been missing?" "Well, have you played Uncharted?" "Yeah, I played Uncharted." That's like going to McDonald's and somebody being like, "What's new?" And they're like, "Have you ever had a Big Mac?" "Yeah, I've had the fucking Big Mac." Get the fuck out of here. Tell me about the McArch Deluxe that's coming back. Get out of here. Like literally, I just want something new, And so I'll leave it on that. But I mean, like literally, that's my new mic actually taking a walk. But so I don't know. Hopefully, I'm coming through clear here, PTK.
Yeah, you're good.
It is a new mic, and only God knows.
You're good.
I'm going to hear it on Twitter later.
I know you are.
I'm going to hear it later. But yeah, that's the whole thing with that. And I think that from now on, what we need to do is give a certain amount of credit to Sony for what they've done. They have done their due diligence as far as putting a console out, making sure it works. There's not been any type of massive recalls on either end. So kudos to everybody on that. They did their job engineering wise. They put out a decent system as far as okay power, because it is what it is out of the box. But realistically, if we're going to give Sony any credit, let's applaud the Greg Millers. Let's applaud the Colin Moriartys, and let's applaud all of the people that are in the Kotakus and Polygons. Because if it wasn't for you people, we wouldn't be at 25 million. We'd be somewhere at equal. and that's the Mooch.
So. All right, guys. So looks like we're gonna end it on that note, guys. We appreciate you. Look like we had actually up to 30 people in here, Mooch. So that's pretty big for only my second podcast. So I appreciate everybody coming out, viewing the show. Anything you want to say before we get off, Mooch?
I would first of all, I want to reiterate thanking you. I think that you're doing a great job. PTK's had amazing content. I always catch it. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. There will be actually a plethora of stuff coming out the next week. There's gonna be another Growing Up Gaming on my show, my channel, and then I'm also gonna have a couple of where I'm just playing some Xbox and bullshitting with people, and I may even do a couple of Twitch streams. So keep tabs of me on Twitter. At MOOCH1978 on Twitter or TheMooch78 on YouTube, and I do appreciate it. And thanks again, PTK. We will be.
No problem, Mooch. Well, that's it for us here today, everybody. I'll have another podcast up tomorrow, and you guys take it easy. Have a great day. Blam and Mooch out.